Papa's lights go out. Let's see Papa's lights go out. This will be funny. Big up Papa's lights going out. And big up the really, really exposed thigh. Big up the interesting framing as well. I don't know why he changed the framing, by the way. I don't know why Chin changed the framing of this studio. It looked way better before. It looks... Oh, shit, sorry. Acid reflux. Talking too fast. Yapping too quickly. Acid reflux there. Anyway, it doesn't even look that great. I think it looks a bit shit, this setup like that. You should have framed it the other way. But hey, what do I know? Let's continue.
When a guy comes from an organization and people, oh, it's UFC jitters, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Why don't you have those jitters in Bellator? Why don't you have those jitters in PFL? Because nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's watching. The reason you have jitters when you get to the UFC because you're in the big show. No one gets to PFL and go, I'm in the big show. No one gets to Bellator and goes, I'm in the big show. Nobody. No kid grows up going, I want to fight for Bellator. I want to fight for PFL. I want to play football for the CFL. I want to play I want to play basketball over in Europe. Nobody. Everyone, when you're a kid, dreams of competing at the highest level. Have you ever heard a kid, if your kid's under 12 and goes, Dad, I just want to be a PFL champ. Oh, get rid of him. Find another kid. Find another kid. That kid doesn't want to be the best. That kid wants to beat up on lower competition and get the accolades and call himself a world champion. But he's not really a world champion. Calling yourself a world champion outside the UFC, again, is like winning the Grey Cup in CFL and saying, well, we're better than insert Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. You're not. You're not. And everyone knows this. But again, it's cool to say,
you got the jitters now, didn't you, motherfucker? Your lights are out. You got the jitters now. Your lights are fucking out. I like how you try to pretend like nothing happened to. But now your jitters are happening. You got the jitters. You were under the big lights and your lights went out. This is a representation of his fucking career, isn't it? Really, if you think about it. This is a representation of his fucking career. 1 minute, you were on the fucking big stage, in a fucking theater, Showtime backed. You're lame. Your name literally up in lights. Your name on the fucking marquee on the outside. Queues around the fucking block. Joe Rogan introducing you for your special. And now, suddenly, you're podcasting in a garage. And the lights go out randomly. Because nobody's moving in there. That is jitters, my friend. That is worse than any fucking, whatever his fucking name was, who competed recently in the UFC, who Brendan's kind of ruling out and saying he doesn't have any fucking chance anymore now because he fucking lost one fight. One fucking fight, according to Brendan, that basically means you're out of contention. You have no hope anymore. There's no chance for you. You might as well just fucking give up right now, right? One fucking fight that Patchy Mix lost, right? Against Baptista, who, if I'm not mistaken, was on like a 7-6 winning streak, if I'm not mistaken. That Batista guy was on like a 7-fight win streak. He's in the top 10 of the UFC. We all know the UFC doesn't give anybody any fucking easy rides. With maybe the exception of Paddy Pimblett. Or maybe, you know, maybe some people here or there. But for the most part, they throw you to the wolves. Especially when you come from another organization and you come with some hype behind you. Because it works in their favor. Because if you're a champion in the PFL, if you're a champion in Bellator, and then you come over to the UFC, it's better they throw you to the wolves if you're the match fixers or you're the match fucking makers and shit. Because if you beat that person, like if Patchy Mix beats Baptista, the hype train is chewing. And you know what's funny about that? If Patchy Mix would have beat fucking Baptista, Brendan would have been fucking on that fucking hype train. He would have been on top of it, riding it like a fucking horse. He would have been right on top of that shit, jumping on top of it, bouncing up and down with his fucking flat ass like it's a fucking dildo. He would have been riding Patchy Mix so hard if he would have won, because the hype train would have been going. That's what the UFC does. So if you swim, you become the next big thing. If you sink, then of course it helps them because it makes it look like, oh, the top caliber athletes and the top caliber fighters and the real competition only exists in the UFC. No other person comes close. So it works out in their favor. So it works out either way. But it doesn't mean if the fighter loses that it's over for them. Come on, man. Patchy Mix is going to be fine. Patchy Mix is going to be fine. Go back to the drawing board. You lost in the unanimous decision. You got maybe dog walks for the majority of the fight. Cool. It's going to be a bit of a damaging bruise to the ego, but you'll be fine. You're a high caliber fighter in the previous organization. You're probably going to show that evidence in your future fights. It's going to be okay. And Brendan should be a bit more sensitive to that thing because he was a former fighter. Usually former fighters don't speak like this. Usually former fighters don't speak in absolutes. They don't write people off. They don't talk in such a disregarding way. Usually this type of commentary is reserved for people like myself, spectators, you know, fans. Like MMA Guru can go in on Patchy Mix and talk about how shit he is and technique and look at him, his record was padded and all this sort of stuff. He can go in. That's what you're meant to as a fan. People on the fucking Reddits and stuff. That's what you're meant to go in. But if you're a former fighter, if you were involved in that sport in any way professionally, usually there's a bit of decorum. There's a bit of professional courtesy. You don't rule off people. You don't rule out people. You don't fucking say, yeah, this is over for you. It's done for you. Especially a young guy like Patchy Mix. You're like, you know what? Bad day at the office. Obviously, he got beat very, very well. Obviously, it wasn't a fucking, you know, wild decision and shit. He got unanimously fucking knocked about for most of the fucking fight. But he's going to come back again. Hopefully, he comes back again. I want to see what he's going to do in the second fight. And you keep on fucking encouraging people. You don't fucking rule them out if you're a former fucking athlete. If you're a former professional. That's what you don't do. But this motherfucker, you know, he's such a piece of shit. He does this sort of shit. And then he wonders why people don't like him. He wonders why he's not so comfy, which is weird. Think about it. This guy fought in the UFC. Allegedly top 15 at one point in heavyweight. Knocked out fucking Mirko Krokop. Should be a legend. Is friends with Joe Rogan. Should be a legend. He should be popping up at random UFC cards just to hang out. He should be in the fucking, he should be going to gyms regularly and hanging out with fighters and seeing what they're doing. But he doesn't go. Why? Because no one really likes him. You know, he doesn't want to go to the UFC because he knows if he goes to a fucking UFC event, you know, Dana White is so fucking petty. I could definitely see Dana White making a call and getting this guy escorted. Waiting until the fucking main card. Brendan gets at the prelims, he sits down, he's having a good time. I could see Dana waiting until the main card starts and then getting security to escort this guy out when the whole place is fucking full. That's how petty Dana is. So that's why he avoids going. And maybe he's scared of going and getting trolled by fans, right? Getting trolled by fans. Getting fucking harassed by fans. Chanting stuff, saying things. Calling him a Rogan dick sucker, all this sort of shit. He doesn't want that. So he stays at home and he says these type of comments. It's fucking crazy, bro. A former professional athlete, you know, that he says this sort of stuff about other professionals. And he wonders why people don't like him. And he wonders why people don't like him.
Hey, like you're in the known. I found this guy when he was young.
You're in the known. You're in the know, you mean? Again, English is your first language, bro. English is this guy's first language, allegedly. You're in the known.
Cool to say like you're in the known. But again, it's cool to say like you're in the known. Cool to say like you're in the known.
You're in the known. You mean you're in the know, not you're in the known. And he's hating on people that are in the know. You know why he's hating on people in the know? Because it makes him feel insecure. Because Brendan doesn't do any research, doesn't watch any fight card. He doesn't fucking do anything. He just gets on fucking stream or sits in front of his chair and just, you know, talks from the top of his head. Reads the fight card from the Wikipedia, has no memory of who's actually fighting unless Chin pulls it up on the screen, has no idea on people's fight styles or whatever, or their records. So it makes horrible, again, predictions on UFC are pretty hard, don't get me wrong. To make fight predictions in UFC is a bit of a fool's errand because, you know, fights are a flick of a coin sometimes. But Brendan's opinion, the way Brendan gets to his conclusions about who he thinks is going to win is always flawed. It's like, what the fuck? Like, you can tell he doesn't watch fights. The way he analyzes, the way he kind of predicts fights, outcomes. Is that, huh? So that's why he's saying what he's saying about people that are in the know, who might have rated Patchy Mix, because it makes him feel insecure, because he doesn't like, let's say, MMA hipsters who are maybe into watching other organizations, other fight leagues in other countries and shit, or maybe it's other ones in America anyway, because it makes him feel insecure because he doesn't watch anything outside of the main card. And I even go as far as saying, I don't even think he watches the main card in full. I don't even think he watches the main card in full. I'm pretty sure he waits until the headline fight or whatever, right? Or maybe he's on his phone the entire time. I don't even think he watches the main card all the way through. I think he's probably in and out on his phone, running around, whatever, doing his thing. That's why he's so insecure about people that are in the known. In the known, you know.
I found this guy, but again, it's cool to say like you're in the known. To say like you're in the known. Cool to say like you're in the known. I found this guy when he was young. I found him in, Cage Warriors. I found him in, all these other underlying promotions before he became big time. Until you're in the UFC, there's a reason. No one ever says, I had PFL jitters. I had Bellator jitters.
Piece of shit, innit? He's a real piece of shit. Denigrating and dismissing and making light of anyone that's champion in other divisions. Obviously, that probably lends to his fucking beef ongoing with Francis Ngannou, right? It's weird fucking thing he's got with Francis. Because Francis didn't take the deal with Bellator. I don't know, some strange thing. So maybe he's kind of sending some sub shots towards Francis. But it's pretty insane that somebody is sitting in the dark. This guy's sitting in the dark, by the way. He's sitting in the dark because his studio isn't a studio, it's a fucking garage. And the lights go off, right? If no one moves in there, right? It's got fucking motion sensor lights and shit. And the lights go off if no one's fucking moving in there. A guy that's sitting in the dark. A guy that went from having a 2-story, no, let's say a really big fucking studio in fucking LA with his own private parking and fucking diner and fucking reception and cleaners, who's now fallen down to the level of having to stream in a garage, is criticizing guys who have become champion in PFL and other fucking divisions and leagues and shit. What a piece of shit. What a piece of shit.